I think it's about time that I continue with the plumbing in the back. I'm Dan, this is Crafted Camper Co, and here we build bespoke, high-level luxury camper vans. I like to video the whole process and put it on YouTube every week so you can see how the builds are progressing. And that's because I'm in the business of building high-level luxury camper vans. Welcome back to Crafted Camper Co. This is part 2 of a 2-part exterior detailing video. If you missed part 1, there is a link in the description. For this part 2, there is chapters below as usual. Make sure you watch that first part so you understand everything that's going on this week, and wait for a fantastic reveal at the end. So we made the outer case, the outer shell. This is going to have the outdoor shower coming out the back of it and the water fill point. Really upgraded and got some marine high quality versions of them. Of course, all of the internal plumbing, the water heating, the expansion tank and water pump, and then there's going to be an extra fuse board down there for the driver's side of the van as well. So I'm just going to start and put all the holes in there and start progressing on, and then eventually make the doors so you can get in it. As you can imagine, trying to make this as tidy as possible, it is kind of, as you go. I know roughly where everything needs to be, but when you start adding fixtures, T-joints and everything all on, you have to start and jig about. So I'm going to time lapse it, and you can work it out as I work it out to make it as tidy as possible. Good opportunity whilst everything's still exposed just to explain what everything is. So we've got the shower and the water. Coming from there, we're going to have the hot and cold going straight up and to where the water system comes down. We've then just got the shower hose, which will rest in here, ready for the shower to be pulled out. That's why this is all going to be enclosed as well, just so then once everything is tacked down and in its place, it won't get tangled with everything and you won't see it, which is ideal. Got the heater coming down. Now we've also, up the top here, we've got the 240 volt and the 12 volt going down, and it's just going down behind. As you can see here, it comes down and through there. So then on this section here, is out the way for the minute, we've got a relay for the water heater. This relay is needed because the Savvy van, so the touch screen, which is up here, will act as a switch, and that switch you'll be able to control, essentially turning the water heater on or off. But what you can do built into the screen up there is add things like when your battery drops below a certain voltage, you can have it turn it on and off automatically, and set timers and everything with your water heating. So really great functionality built into there. That's going to run through this. So on here you've got a 12 volt coming in, which acts as a switch, and the other side of that switch, and then you've also got the 230 volt, which of course turns on and off, as you can see that. So that needs to be connected up with the water heater, which is what I'm doing now. So I'm going to put this little box in this area that I'm working in now, and in this area you get the opportunity to kind of put things in there, keep it nice and tidy. There's also a Wago box up the top here. We've got 230 volt coming from the passenger side where the electrical power unit is, down there. 230 volt runs up, over and down, and on this side we have the water heater and we also have the oven. So I need a place to split that 230 volt into two. So that's what we're going to do in this box as well. As you can see in here, it's just a waterproof Wago, which you can just put the little Wago clips in there just to split the cable into 3. So that's another great place for something to live there as well, nice and tidy and aware. And then as you can see, the box we've got a couple of components into it now. Not 100% sure if this is going to live here, but it does look alright for the minute. But we've got the fuse boards, so the 16mm wire is being sent from the main fuse board over to here. And so this is a secondary fuse board, which at the moment we're powering, first of all, the water heater, and then second of all, it nicely takes us onto this Savvy tanks. So this Savvy tanks, in conjunction with the screen up there, we'll be able to read the information coming from the fresh and grey water tanks. That works by Bluetooth, so the only thing we have to do on here is power it and earth it, and then once I've got the sensors, the level sensors, I can then plug them into there, and that'll Bluetooth information then up into the screen, which you can see why this I'm doing on the water side and the far side, because I've got easy access to both the tanks. And that's another good reason why we've got the extra fuse board in here, so then I can run independent fuse power to different appliances which don't necessarily need to be connected directly to the power and or savvy system. And just waiting on a couple of extra fittings, so this is almost in its finished state. So the best way to explain it is just to follow the water, I guess. So the water is going to come from the bottom of the van up and through the filter that's in there. This will be sealed off, but you can get into it in service if you need to. We go up then into the ISO valve to be able to turn the water system off. The water pump is fused to fuse number 1. We've got the power and earth. Then it goes through into the actuator, accumulator, and then splits off down, first of all, to the shower, which is down here. And then it splits then down and, it comes back up, comes back up and is going to go into here once I get the connector. So that'll go into the water heater, and then separates off the back to go towards the kitchen sink. And then, of course, out of the water heater will come the hot water. That then goes and separates off back into the kitchen, and then also comes down and into the shower. Again, just waiting for the connectors to connect to these. I thought they were 1/2 inch, but I think they're 1/4 inch, so just waiting for them to arrive. I've also, proud moment, got a nice little crafted camper car build number 2 in there. Just a little serial number for the van. You can see that's going to look really tidy at the back of the van with those two. A couple of wires and everything ready to go to plumb it all in. I'm just going to make the doors now. We're getting to the point of the build now where we have got big, awesome items going in like the chairs. But we also need to just keep an eye out on all of the little smaller jobs as well. So one of them that I'm just about to tackle now is the overhang here. So the step extension that I've done, which the kitchen cabinet's going to sit on top. Got the metal van concept step. This just needs a plate put in on top, just to bring it perfectly in line with where the floor is on mine, because I've got a bit of a thicker floor than what you'd usually have. So I'm just going to make a plate for on top of here. That'll then fit nicely under there with some bolts. Welcome back to another episode of Sewing with Dan. When starting a business, I didn't realise I'd have to do things like this, but needs must, improvise, adapt and overcome. The trim ring I'm putting on either side of the side pods needs material going in and around, and that material has been measured and cut, and now I did try to glue it and it looked off. So instead I've bought a shop sewing machine. I don't have a Scooby what I'm doing. I'm going to give it a go at folding this over, sewing it together, and then I've got a nice material ring to glue into the side pod flare. So bear with me, I'm going to learn how to do it, and we'll go on a bit of an adventure together. This is the most complicated thing I've ever done. New skill acquired. I think a bit more practice, get my lines straight, and I'm pretty happy with that. That's good. Whenever I paint or do any carpentry or anything, the TikTok communities come alive. Slag us off. I wonder what the sewing community is going to say to this. So I've lined it up. I've done a few practices on waste pieces, and I've offered it up to the trim ring itself and just marked where I needed to go. And I've got a little bit of a leeway in case it doesn't need doing again. Wish me luck. I'm going to try and connect two bits together. It's certainly not bad. There's a bit of an inconsistent line. I don't know how to get that straight or even. Not bad for a first try there. Second time, let's give that another go. That was much better. Pin's getting in the way a little bit, but I think it's a good result. Maybe not. I missed the fabric at the end. Get tired to third time's a charm. That's worked well. Let's get it glued down. After trying for probably about 3 hours, the inner trim rings, I've gone and got some professional help. Not the only professional help I need, but this is the result. A big problem that I was having because of the inner circumference of it, I wanted it to look as tidy as possible, and I carried on just cutting it way too short, and my sew lines were not particularly great. So as you can see here, the Stringer brothers done an absolutely phenomenal job. Those guys are right next to another campervan converter, J-Boat in Home Firth, and they've done an absolutely superb job. Turned it around for me very quickly, just as a special favour, because I needed it done really quick in terms of the build. So if you do need any upholstery doing like this, those guys are definitely the ones to shout. I'll put the details on the screen, but they're really helpful. You know, give them a call and get in touch, and they can really do pretty much anything. But certainly if you give them a call, they'll be able to give you a quote together. Now that we've got the trim tiny kit up and around, it's about time that we score, cut and put the side pods in. The side pods have come with the template trim rings. I want it to be fixtureless, which is not how the trim rings were designed. So I've had to make a couple of alterations into the plan. First of all, as you've seen, the trim rings being upholstered by Stringer Brothers Upholstery, which looks fucking ace. And then we've got the back panel on now. I've decided on my idea, which is a fantastic idea, to put these bolts in. This just holds it in place. It's much better than just leaving it in there cold mounted, or even like what my idea was to bond it onto the back of the van. This is a much more stable way for it to live. And I've riv nut into here to fix onto this board. Now the idea is when you're materialing it, you material the whole thing and then drill through the material to fit into these fittings. Doing it backwards now, so we've just glued the inner edge. I'm going to flip it over, pull the material back, glue, screw these bolts into place, locking it all together, and then wrap the material over the tops of the screws so then you don't see any of them. Glue it all, bob it in. And that's the idea anyway. Let's see if it works. A little fan which I've got just to brand the Sprinter. He's on the side pod. I'm going to put a crafted logo. So 3D printed one. Once and here. Just get a nice subtle logo. I think it's a nice stamp on the van itself, just to show you what it is and who made it. So I'm just mounting a bracket now, so it looks level, measured with the indentation in the side pod. I'm going to rest this on top, CT1 it on, and then Raptor paint over the top. So then it's all, you know, this is PETG, so it's the type of 3D printing that can withstand outside, and the adhesive that I'm using, well, that'll be absolutely fine. But then with the Raptor over the top, it'll just get it all molded into one product, as opposed to just being stuck on the side. Now that we've got the alloys on and we've got all of the trim off, all on the side of the van, I've laid them all out after a good clean. Covered a couple of bits in the workshop that I don't want to get any paint on. Now we're going to hook up the Raptor black paint and give everything the first coat of paint. As well as all of the plastic trims as well, the electrical box in the rear, That's all going to be Raptor painted, just like the water garage. The electrical garage is going to have that rugged waterproof coat on it as well. So whilst I have the bottles of Raptor, put a load of hardener in it, so I'd like to try and get as much things as I possibly can out ready for paint to make sure that none of it goes to waste, because it will all harden if I don't have anything to spray it onto. Regulars here have seen this process many times before, but just to run over it once again, we've got Raptor paint, we've got some hardener, put some hardener in the paint, screw on the sprayer, plug it into the compressor. It's a fantastic product to work with because the paint's incredibly heavy, so it's not like traditional paint where you're going to get overspray everywhere. Where you spray is where it goes, but I am going to open the door because I think a bit of ventilation will be good for my lungs. Now at the point of painting the sills, whilst all the bumpers and side trims are all off. Good opportunity to get that painted. You can paint a little bit higher than where those trims sit, and yeah, first of all, masking everything off. As well as looking off-road and rugged, this paint is a protector as well. So it protects against stone chips, protects against future rust and things like that. So yeah, it's beneficial to pay attention now, get it on all the right spots. I can spray a little bit underneath the sill as well, even though you never see it, it just offers an extra level of protection. One thing, even when the doors are all closed when I'm spraying, is you're going to be spraying up and under where the hole is. So you can see I mask all of this around here. I only need to go up as high as the trim because I'm just painting the bottom sill, and then I'm coming down and around and back up that side. Just so then if there is any paint that goes underneath and under spray, we've still got a nice clean line when you open that door. I've done this type of paint job a number of times now. I'll keep on returning back to it because I really like the rugged, cost-effective, pretty cool way to off-road, rugged, and yeah, change the look of your campervan. It is a service which I offer. I've got big priorities with these big builds, but also got extra helpings to be able to accommodate for smaller jobs pretty much immediately. So make sure that once you see the reveal at the end, once you see the van looking absolutely wicked, if it's something that you're interested in, get in touch. It's Dan at craftedcamper.co, and we've got a new website as well, so the website link will be in the description. Have a look on there, you can see some of the older builds, you can see this build. Let me know and get in touch. Front bumpers back on, looks fantastic. And we've got the black wheels and the side trim all the way down. Just waiting for a couple of side lights to arrive, and I'm going to do the rest of the painting. But it's a good opportunity for me to show you the next product which we've got. So for this area here in particular, we've got the black stripe coming all the way down, and then there's just this area here which is just missing the black. I don't like how it kind of just goes and it looks as if it's cut off. So that is where we've got this Terrawagen fender protector. As this is a plastic trim which just goes on and above there and over the arch, just continuing that line and adding to the ruggedness of the build. Terrawagen I've used quite a lot on this van. I really quite like them as a product. We've got the rear trim tidy kit, the surround with the gap fills above the overhead cabin, and now this is for the latest one, these fender flares. So let's get them stuck on and see how they look. We've come to a dead proud point for Project 2. Now that all of the paint is on, the wheels are on, and all of the trim and everything is all back in place, and that comes to the end of the exterior styling of the van. So please come join me, take a look at Project 2. So the black and silver is really complementary. I really quite like how that looks. The idea that I've got is to have the band of black go all the way around, including the wheels, the Terrawagen trim over the top of the wheel wells, the new black lights as opposed to the orange ones, and then that wraps around with the Raptor paint all the way to the front. We've got the nice beefy looking Terrawagen on the top, blacked out badge, and then coming and jumping up, we have the black of the windscreen, the mirrors, the cab windows, and then the cab windows then extend back into the black, just completing this section of black. Like you've got the windscreens at the front, the two side pieces on the side, and then the rear doors, which are the same as well. And that theme on further up, you've then got the black canvas, which I chose to go with that black and silver theme, and we decided to colour code the top of the van in the silver. So you've got black, silver, black, silver, black, silver, and I think it really complements itself now that it's all together and we can see the final product. It's a nice rugged off-road look whilst still, for the customer's purpose, being able to not be overboard, and yeah, I think it's turned out really lovely. Able to tick these jobs off of the job list and actually be completed in certain sections is really nice and really promising that we're getting towards the end of this build. We've got a couple of weeks left now to really get into the bones of getting the final walls up, getting the bed in place. We're really going to have that nice bump which you do get at the end of a project where everything starts to come together and it feels like you make loads of progress in a little amount of time. So next week we've got the full building of the bed and all of the back section finishing off the garage, and then into the final week then with the building of the laminate kitchens. I'm putting everything together to complete this build and hand it to hopefully a very excited customer. Thank you very much for joining this week. Please subscribe, it means a lot for my numbers and pushes the channel out there. And if you've got a build that you want me to take a look at, quote, and even just give some advice on, get in touch. It's dan@craftedcamper.co. We're looking for build number 3 now, so let me build your campervan for you. Make it look as beautiful as this. Cheers.